Tonight, the province releases guidelines for Thanksgiving and Halloween.
We are able to gather together with friends and family to celebrate Thanksgiving this year, provided public health measures are followed.
Yes, you can get together for turkey dinner this weekend, and trick-or-treating is back. But Ontario's top doctor is warning people to closely follow the province's guidelines to keep everyone safe. Plus,
yes, people have choices, but choices have consequences.
we check in with a long-term care home in Roncesvalles where dozens of unvaccinated workers have been placed on unpaid leave after the home's vaccine mandate came into effect this week. And
good to get back with people, you know, dance and stuff.
It's been a while.
Come on, Toronto! Fans are living La Vida Loca at Scotiabank Arena, the venue welcoming Ricky Martin and Enrique Iglesias tonight for the city's first major concert in 19 months. Good evening, I'm Kelda Yoon. Thanksgiving is just around the corner, and this year, unlike the last, the province is giving the green light to indoor gatherings. Looking further ahead, trick-or-treating is also getting the go-ahead. Ontario's top doctor releasing guidelines for both Thanksgiving and Halloween this afternoon. Lorena Redekop has more.
People stocked up for the long weekend, the second Thanksgiving during the pandemic.
We're getting together, but we're all getting tested ahead of time, and we're going to try and eat outside.
It will be better than last year. We have to stay alone, and that was not a pleasant day for Thanksgiving.
Gathering limits allow up to 25 people inside, 100 outside, though the chief medical officer says the smaller the better, and outdoors is safer. Plus, no masks are required if everyone is vaccinated, including inside if everyone is comfortable.
If you gather indoors with people from multiple households who are unvaccinated or partially vaccinated, or you don't know whether they've been vaccinated, you should wear a face covering and physically distancing. No one should attend a Thanksgiving or other social gathering if they are sick, even if people have mild symptoms. Please stay home and get tested.
Average daily cases have been falling for the past month. Test positivity is down, along with hospitalizations. Today, 149 people were in ICU due to COVID-19, the lowest number in more than a month and a half. But the opposition parties say the advice should have come well before people picked up their turkey.
Can't tell me we didn't know last week what we should be doing. If we haven't figured it out, that's another problem altogether. It's too late.
We should be able to provide information to folks so that they can plan in advance and plan with a sense of security and safety.
The chief medical officer also had Halloween advice. Don't crowd doorsteps when going door to door, work a face covering into a costume, and keep it on for trick-or-treating. And he clarified his advice not to sing or yell for treats.
They'll have masks on. It's just not to yell too exuberantly. I think the purpose of that comment was not to aerosolize, and it's just a risk reduction strategy.
And following this long weekend, he says he wouldn't be surprised if cases do rise, as they usually do after long weekends, and will be monitoring that. Lorena Redekop, CBC News, Toronto.
Dozens of unvaccinated workers at Copernicus Lodge, a long-term care home in Roncesvalles, are currently on unpaid indefinite leave. Now this after the facility's mandatory vaccine policy came into effect on Monday. The workers are being replaced through temp agencies, but as our Dale Manukduk tells us, the facility says it is seeing more of them come forward to get the shot since the mandate kicked in.
Outside Copernicus Lodge long-term care home in Little Poland, a huge sign reads, "We are hiring." A staff shortage that predates the pandemic has gotten worse because of a mandatory vaccination policy.
We originally had 111 employees who were not vaccinated, and we currently have 76. So we have had staff come forward and receive their vaccination and getting ready to return to work.
For the dozens who have yet to get the jab, they are on indefinite unpaid suspension.
Yes, people have choices, but choices have consequences, and unfortunately, these are one of the consequences.
Mary Oko is the chair of family council at the home. Her 95-year-old mother, diagnosed with advanced dementia, lives there. She says the door is open for staff to return.
I would welcome them with open arms, but I need to know how to help them. And so, I appeal to them.
22 residents at Copernicus Lodge died during a COVID-19 outbreak at the home last year. The province's vaccine mandate for long-term care comes into effect next month. But Ontario's top doctor doesn't think healthcare staff should have a choice when it comes to the vaccine.
I think as a healthcare worker, anywhere you're working in a high-risk environment, whether it's long-term care, acute care, it's your personal obligation to be vaccinated to protect the patients you serve.
Patients like 93-year-old Yanina Chulo says things are different with the temp workers subbing in.
We are missing because their service is not there and their language is not there. We have substitutes and they are kind and we appreciate them.
The home has done outreach and had one-on-one conversations with unvaccinated staff and hope more will decide to get vaccinated. Copernicus Lodge has made no immediate decision other than unpaid suspension. Dale Manukduk, CBC News, Toronto.
Parents in Toronto say pediatricians are refusing to see their sick children in person, instead recommending they go to the hospital. And this is resulting in some hospitals, including sick kids, experiencing a surge in young patients. Many, they say, with coughs and colds that don't require emergency attention. Samantha Beattie reports.
How cute are you?
For Sanu Man, it's a relief to see her 1-year-old son Gish healthy again after fighting a cough and cold on his own since the summer. His pediatrician refuses to examine him if he has any symptoms similar to COVID-19, even if he tests negative.
I got in touch with his doctor and just unfortunately, pediatricians are not ready to see kids yet. And she was like, as long as he doesn't fully recover, like he has no cold, runny nose, cough or fever, he's not allowed into the clinic.
When Gish had a high fever for days, his doctor said their best option was to go to sick kids. Man says they ended up leaving after they were told it would be a 10-hour wait.
He was getting worse and worse, and by the time it was like 1 a.m. or so, and he won't stay calm.
Other moms say they faced similar challenges when their toddlers were sick with a stomach bug and ear infection.
It was a really stressful situation that I think could potentially have been avoided if we had been able to see our primary care physician.
The fact that we're still having to deal with these situations is really frustrating. I shouldn't have to take my daughter to the hospital to get a simple check.
Both sick kids in St. Joseph's Kids Clinic say they're busier than before the pandemic.
We had a very busy August, and that trend has continued. So to give you some sense, August of 2021 was 15% busier than in 2019 and 40% busier than in 2020.
He says it's because family doctors aren't seeing as many patients in person, and patients aren't choosing to go to walk-in clinics or urgent care.
So when their child has an unplanned illness, so a fever or a cough, vomiting or diarrhea, they're coming down to our emergency department.
An Oakville pediatrician says she manages in-person appointments by scheduling kids with possible COVID symptoms at the end of the day.
Hopefully, as our pandemic sort of dies down and people continue to get vaccinated, we're going to see lower numbers and people are going to be able to get better access to care.
Meanwhile, Burgeon says while she's grateful for the healthcare system, her 2 kids need to be able to see their doctor.
Having had a baby in 2018 and then again in the pandemic, the care is different, straight up. It's just different, and it has to be different. I understand that, but I think we just need to work on improving it so that there are fewer people falling through the cracks.
While all toddlers in this story are feeling better, their pediatricians still won't see them in person. Samantha Beattie, CBC News, Toronto.
Toronto Fire is investigating an oil leak in Lake Ontario at Sugar Beach near Queens Quay. Now, according to the deputy chief, a boat was sent out to investigate this afternoon after they received a tip from the public and oil was discovered. Toronto Fire is now trying to figure out where it's coming from. In the meantime, they've deployed a buoy to try to contain the spill. Crews are investigating at the scene behind the Redpath sugar plant. The Toronto Wildlife Centre said it was aware of the situation and had teams on standby to help any affected wildlife. The City of Toronto's Water Division is also investigating the spill. All right, meteorologist Colette Kennedy joins us now with a first look at the forecast. And Colette, I have to say, I'm enjoying these mild, comfortable temperatures. Almost makes you forget it's October.
Yeah, it really is hard to kind of put yourself in that frame of mind. I mean, obviously some of the leaves are changing, but even they're not changing at the level or rate that they normally would because of the mild weather that we've been experiencing. Now, we've also been experiencing this significant cloud deck, been very difficult to break through. We have high pressure to the north with all kinds of sunshine and this cutoff low that I've been talking about this week that's to the south. It's been giving heavy rains, flooding rains into parts of the southeastern U.S., but we just get into the clouds and now finally some of these showers are working their way in as well. So as we go through the overnight hours, we're really looking at that into southwestern Ontario, although it comes in kind of parcels, and then towards tomorrow morning, more wet weather spreading there. Still a lot of those clouds here along the north shore of Lake Ontario and all the way around to the Niagara region. Some patchy fog development again tonight. That's possible there too, but it's mostly that and not the wet weather. That wet weather will eventually ride its way over towards the Golden Horseshoe, but it's more likely we see that late Friday, but especially into Saturday. And I'm going to work through that forecast a little more for you in more detail for the holiday weekend. That is coming up. In the meantime, let's show you what we're talking about. Another mild night coming to you tonight, and that is with that temperature at 16, tomorrow 20 degrees, but still a lot of cloud cover, Kelda.
Thanks so much, Colette. If you pass by a gas station today, you might have been picking your jaw up off the floor. Gas prices have hit an all-time high in the GTA, $1.44 a liter at most stations. We spoke with drivers experiencing a bit of sticker shock at the pumps.
I'm spending about 150, 200 more every month, probably.
It's like throwing money away, it feels. I don't even want to drive. Economy is growing up, so let's hope our economy grow along with the gas prices.
Gas prices are expected to drop 2 cents tomorrow. Experts we spoke to today suggest waiting until Saturday to gas up if you can. A lot of excitement at Scotiabank Arena tonight. No, it's not the Raptors or Leafs. Latin superstars Ricky Martin and Enrique Iglesias are in town for the city's first major stadium concert in, get this, 580 days. The singers are on a joint tour and have a 2-night stop at Scotiabank Arena. And that's where we find our Greg Ross. And Greg, I see they're just coming out now. What was it like in there tonight?
Well, I can tell you, Kelda, they were only allowed to have about 50% of the normal capacity that they have here at Scotiabank Arena for a concert. So that's about 10,000 fans in there tonight, but it was still loud. Lots of people screaming and yelling, lots of people singing and dancing in the aisles, having a lot of fun, a lot of pent-up emotion for music lovers who just haven't been able to go to a concert like this since the start of the pandemic. And you can see some of that emotion spilling out of the arena right now as these fans are just getting out of this concert. But I can tell you the last time there was a concert here was March 7th of 2020. That was Eros Ramazzotti that played here back then. Lots has changed since that concert back in 2020. All the fans here had to be vaccinated and show proof of vaccination before going into the concert tonight. A lot of people I talked to before this concert, before they got some of that fun juice into them at this concert, were telling me that they were nervous about being in a crowd this size for the first time since the start of the pandemic.
I can't envision what 10,000 people will feel like, so yeah, we'll have to see. I'm really excited.
Yeah, finally getting back
it's about
to
time
normal.
because yeah, it's like one of the last places to open up, so time to have some fun.
We haven't been with a lot of people in like a long time recently. Yeah, it's gonna be exciting though. Good to get back with people, you know, dance and stuff.
With everything we've been through, is it weird going back to a concert right now?
It is. It's really weird, you know, especially with all those people in there. It's been a while. It's about, what, at least 2 years, I would think.
It's my first time in Toronto in the concert. I am from Colombia and I love Ricky Martin, Enrique Iglesias and the Latin music.
It's good to have events still and still be safe, but it's still a little bit, I don't know, unusual. It's just weird, yeah.
And there's no need to take off that Enrique Iglesias
No, I
mask.
don't. I did this just so he could recognize me from 2017, so hopefully it works.
You don't expect to be hugging him this time around.
I don't know. You never know.
Yeah, that didn't happen. But I can tell you that both Ricky Martin and Enrique Iglesias acknowledge the fact that it's been so long since there's been a concert here at Scotiabank Arena. In fact, Iglesias actually poured a shot, toasted the crowd, and thanked them for coming back out. I also had a chance to talk to a lot of the staff here at Scotiabank Arena, and they say, in addition to all the Leafs and Raptors games that they've got scheduled for this building, they say there's also a number of concerts that are coming up. So they're saying they're going to be busy here for the months to come, Kelda.
Lots more to come. Thanks so much, Greg. That's our Greg Ross reporting live for us tonight. Welcome back. The Peel District School Board has adopted an official strategy to combat anti-Muslim hate for staff and students, a first in the country. Deanna Sumanak-Johnson looks at the efforts and the calls for more.
School Board trustee Nohada Krub knows that change, though slow, is possible. This school was a site of protests 4 years ago, with some objecting to Muslim students praying in school.
There was the incident with the ripping of the Quran at the school board. It was a very difficult time.
Islamophobia takes many shapes.
Today, the Peel District School Board became the first in Canada with an official anti-Islamophobia strategy affecting both students and staff.
We will be looking at mandatory anti-Islamophobia training provided to all staff. We've also done a number of different equity initiatives around culturally responsible delivery of the curriculum.
The hate-inspired hit-and-run of 4 members of a Muslim family in London, Ontario, sparked many conversations about how best to tackle Islamophobia.
Since then, I've just been trying to advocate even more.
16-year-old Alicia Aslam thinks reaching young minds is the key. She created a website with statistics and factoids to help fellow students learn about what Canadian Muslims face.
We can try to go change the entire country at once, but nothing will happen until we try to change the places where we spend our lives the most. And for a lot of people like me, that's the classroom.
This Saskatchewan teacher would like to see the Peel Board's strategy adopted across Canada, but she also thinks it's just a first step and more is needed.
I'd hope that this training is something that's ongoing, that builds upon itself, and that year to year is a mandatory training. So definitely that ongoing and that anti-racist kind of training, anti-oppressive training within there, rather than just cultural diversity celebrations, which we're kind of used to.
No word yet on whether other school boards will follow Peel's lead, but there are places educators can turn to. Ontario's government gave Muslim organizations more than $200,000 to create Islamophobia resources for students and parents. Deanna Sumanak-Johnson, CBC News, Toronto.
An Ontario woman has pleaded guilty to a multi-million-dollar fraud investigation, admitting to stealing funds from the Ontario Minor Hockey Association.
It is definitely pleasing to see that the courts system has taken this seriously.
York Regional Police say 47-year-old Jennifer Guertin pleaded guilty to charges including theft over $5,000 and breach of trust. Guertin had served as the finance director of the Hockey Association. An investigation that began in November 2018 eventually uncovered $2.4 million worth of stolen money linked to Guertin. She's been sentenced to 2 years in jail and is ordered to pay back $100,000 to the organization. Partly cloudy this evening, becoming fog patches overnight. Temperature is still mild, 18 degrees tonight in the city. All right, let's go back to Colette now with a look at your extended forecast. And Colette, heading into Thanksgiving long weekend, a bit of wet weather, but not a total wash.
Yeah, it is looking like, given that we do have 3 days to the holiday weekend, or depending on what your situation is, but we are looking at a chance to get out of the system. So it is going to be moving in, but the wet weather, most of it looks like that will be Saturday, although Friday, Saturday, if you're in southwestern Ontario. Daytime highs up to 20 degrees today. And something I'll say for you, when you're starting the day off in the mid-teens, that's not much of a climb. Areas where there was some sunshine, like, hey, it was later in the afternoon, but some sun after morning mist and fog in southwestern Ontario allowed that temperature up to 23. London, 24. Even eastern Ontario seeing some temperatures there in Kingston into the low 20s. Now looking ahead, the rain showers kind of coming in batches into southwestern Ontario overnight tonight. Could have tomorrow even some embedded thunderstorms that we may be seeing in here. So some heavier stuff just at times, but it's not constant. It sort of comes in, then you get a break, it comes back in. Mostly it's the cloud cover after some morning fog that we're dealing with a little bit further east, like over towards Lake Ontario and through the GTA. There's an isolated shower risk, but it's greater, that chance of getting into the wet conditions when we get into Friday night and Saturday. So that's when we'll really be watching for that. Overnight tonight, this is what we're looking at. 17 degrees for the low here into southwestern Ontario. And how about that daytime high? Because of the wet conditions, still some humidity, not as bad as today, but with those wet conditions, it'll actually keep the temperature down a little bit. We'll see if you make it to that 24 there at Chatham, Kent, and Leamington. That will depend on getting some sunny breaks coming your way. Now over towards Toronto, again tonight, we're looking at those temperatures in the teens. So here we go with your overnight lows. Watch out, allow a little bit of extra time due to that reduced visibility as we do see some fog developing. And then for tomorrow, again, if you get a sunny break, consider yourself very lucky that that happens. St. Catharines, you have a better risk there, so 24 degrees. Look ahead, Saturday night, still some wet weather, but things really breaking out and improving Sunday, but especially into Monday.
Finally tonight, the Toronto Zoo shared some exciting news today. One of its endangered orangutans is pregnant, a first for the zoo in more than a decade.
We haven't had a baby orangutan at our zoo for 15 years. So Booty is a first-time dad. He's recently reached sexual maturity, and this is just an incredible addition for the endangered population.
This is Sakali. She is a 29-year-old Sumatran orangutan. It's a critically endangered species. Fewer than 15,000 of the apes are left on the planet. The zoo paired Sakali with 15-year-old Booty. Both animals were born at the zoo. Sakali became pregnant in August and is due in April. And how did the zoo confirm the pregnancy? Much like they would a human one, using a home pregnancy test. And that's our show for you tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you back here tomorrow night at 11. Have a great night, everyone.